Have you ever cried after a Zoom meeting and then talked yourself out of quitting again? Or have you ever felt like the only unicorn in a room full of donkeys? If you have, you're not the problem, but your fit might be. Let's talk about how to stop repeating the same job heartbreak and find a role that finally fits. Hey, I'm Wendy, and if you're new here, welcome. I've coached hundreds of professionals to find jobs they love and that love them back, and that make them love their entire lives. I don't just coach job seekers. I built teams, I've run hiring processes, I've trained interviewers. I've conducted over 12,000 interviews in my career. I've seen what makes a great match and what leads to misery. So if you're tired of forcing a fit, you're in the right place. Bad jobs cost more than just time. They hurt your confidence, they impact your health, they follow you home to your kids, your partner, your energy, all the things that are most important in your life. And most people stay because they're afraid of ending up in the same situation again. But what if you had a strategy to stop that cycle? So there are a couple steps that you want to take to finding job love. The first step is to know what you love and what you hate. You can't find what you want if you don't know what it is, and you can't avoid what you don't want if you haven't named it. What drains you, what lights you up, even on the hard days. So tell me in the comments, what's one thing you never want to deal with again in a job? And I think it'd be a lot of fun if we don't need to put it in my DMs. You actually put it in the comments. I want to get my community sharing, because I think these answers are going to be fire. What is the one thing you never want to deal with again in a job? I love these answers. These are awesome. So, step 2 is to know what makes you a unicorn. Too many of us water ourselves down to fit. And trust me, I may not do that anymore, but I did it for a long time. Instead of watering yourself down to fit, I want you to understand what makes you a unicorn. And do you want to work with other unicorns or a mixed herd? All I can tell you is I have been there and been the only unicorn in a land of donkeys, and it was one of the most miserable things I have ever experienced. I don't want that for you. I want you to know your magic and find the people who value it. Step 3 is to find the right size company for you. Company size impacts everything: the speed, the chaos, the structure, the risk, the politics. What size company brings out your best? And are you targeting the right ones or falling for big names and job titles? I want to stop and talk for a minute, because 2 of the core components of my job search coaching program touch these 2 pieces. They touch the right size company piece and the best fit piece, actually. And then the third, so it's all 3, what makes you a unicorn? These are really mission critical components of the work that I do with my clients. And the funny thing is that when people come to me, for the most part, that's not what they think that they need. So I'm going to let you know a little secret. The secret to an awesome life is a job that you love and that makes space for and pays for the rest of your life. Yeah. So it's important to talk about the right size company, the best and worst fits for you across your career, and what makes you a unicorn. These are mission critical. So with regard to the right size company, most people have a right size company and they only have 1 or maybe 2. Mine, when I was a tech leader, was when it's time for the company to move out of chaos into order. So out of chaos into order. That is my sweet spot. I don't handle all chaos all the time real well. I also, when I was a tech VP, was not known for my political skills. Now, it's ironic because in my next role, I was a management consultant working for a boutique consulting firm, and I was the project lead, the go-to for the highly political clients. But it's different being the external expert coming into a political environment than it is being an executive in a political environment. They're two very different ball games. Okay, so just to repeat, those steps were know what you love and hate, know what makes you a unicorn, find the right size company. Which of those do you know the answer to? And which of those do you have no idea? Let me know in the comments. Now, if you don't do those three things, what happens? What happens if you don't? If you don't get clear on what fits you, you'll end up in the same cycle, the same bad boss, the same red flags, the same burnout, the same coming home and wanting to kick your dog. Not that you're going to actually kick your dog, but that same coming home and it's just ugh all over again. My clients who actually cried on their way home from work every day. So let's recap. You need to define what you love and what you need and want to avoid. You need to own what makes you a unicorn, and you need to aim for the company size and style that matches your rhythm. I've created a job love cheat sheet to help you ask the right questions during interviews so you don't fall for culture copywriting again. And if you're tired of job heartbreak and want real support, I have a few spots open for one-on-one coaching. Let's hop on a free clarity call to see what's right for you. I'll drop the link in the comments or just send me a message and say, clarity call. Let's find job love in all the right places.